Let us begin disassembling the KF350. Remove the battery cover by pushing down toward the bottom while pushing and holding down the upper projection of the battery cover. Insert a finger into the separation hole on the lower end and push up to remove the battery. Remove the 6 screws. Remove the SD cap and MMI cap to separate the rear cover. Since there is a hook from the middle of the antenna at the bottom, insert a scraper and separate the rear cover while pushing it to the left and right. If you look at the left side after separating the rear cover, you will see a white RF cable connected between the main PCB and key PCB. Since the connector and cable can be damaged, please carefully remove the cable connector connected to the main PCB first. You can remove the part easily by lifting the lower part of the cable connector by using a pinchet. On the left and right sides on the upper part, there are the main PCB connector and key PCB connector. You can remove them easily by lifting them toward the upper side. Please remove by widening the hook slightly for fixing the main PCB on the left side one place and right side one place. In order to remove the key PCB and side key FPCB, gently hold the key PCB connector on the upper right side and lift it up slightly. When you have separated it slightly, hold the key PCB and lift vertically to remove the side key FPCB easily without damage. After opening the folder, lift and remove the keypad. We have completed disassembly of the main part. Now let us start to remove the upper part. Prior to separating the upper part, first remove the 2 cap screws by using a pinchet. Remove the 2 cap screws. Use a scraper on the upper side of the camera to separate the cover upper and remove the upper by opening left and right. After removing the upper and 2 gaskets, remove the camera. Remove the hinge stopper made of rubber in the left hole of installing the camera. Also, there is a small hole on the upper side of the cap MMI on the top of the front. If the left side is pushed by using a pinchet, the hinge comes out of the bracket from the front. In removing the FPCB folder, remove the speaker, motor, and light sensor in that order from the upper right connector. Please remove it carefully so that the FPCB and cable are not disconnected. After removing the FPCB folder, remove the blue insulator attached on the LCD zip connector on the left. After removal, remove the 2 screws on the left and 1 screw on the right. Installing, removing the LED module can be done easily by lifting it slightly after separating the LED module connector located on the upper right side. In order to remove the sub-PCB and FPCB LCD, push down the black part of the zip connector on the LCD connected to the sub-PCB. Then hold up the sub-PCB and push upwards to separate the LCD FPCB easily without damage. After removing the LCD from the sub-PCB, separate the FPCB LCD from the sub-PCB. We have separated the hinge from the front in order to remove the lower part of the front. The part can be easily removed by pushing in the direction of alternate angles by holding the front and lower while open. After that, take out the FPCB LCD from the bracket lower tube. After taking it out diagonally, so that the FPCB is not damaged, pull out the front also diagonally to separate the front and lower. If the speaker is pushed to the bottom after removing the 2 hooks on the top of the cover lower, the bracket lower and cover lower is separated. Then, hold and pull out the LCD from the bracket lower to complete the separation. Remove the part obliquely so that the LCD FPCB is not damaged. After removing the hook that fixes the left upper side of the shield can, pull out the PCB by pushing to the left to complete the separation. The antenna installed on the cover rear is removed in order of bottom and top by using a pinchet. The separation is completed when the hinge installed onto the bracket lower is pushed to the left by using a pinchet. Now we have completed disassembling the KF350. Let us begin assembling the KF350. If you look at the PCB when connecting the main PCB plus shield can, you will see a hole on the lower right end. After fixing it to the guide rib, make the connection while pushing the PCB on the top left hook. Now, connect the hinge onto the lower bracket. Make the insertion while taking care with the direction of hinge head. Insert the FPCB LCD into the front diagonally. Be careful with the direction of the connector. Push the FPCB LCD into the bracket lower tube diagonally. At the same time, twist the front dummy hinge and bracket lower slightly, and make the connection simultaneously. Be careful that the FPCB is not pushed out from the connection. Now, the hinge needs to be connected with the front again. Since the open angle of the hinge is 160 degrees, the hinge should be pushed to the front while opening, closing in the top-bottom direction while the folder is open. Now, push the hinge stopper into the hole between hinge and lower bracket and fasten it so that the hinge stopper does not come out above the side where the camera is installed. Connect the FPCB LCD connector to the sub-PCB connector. When connected, install the sub-PCB onto the bracket lower and fasten the two screws on the left and right. Install the LCD onto the lower bracket. Install the LCD gently and obliquely so as not to damage the LCD FPCB. After installation, connect the LCD to the sub-PCB zip connector and push it in so that the silk line of LCD FPCB corresponds to the zip connector edge. After that, push the black part of the zip connector to the lower end in order to complete fixing the LCD. Connect the LED module after fixing the LCD and fasten the remaining one screw. After installing the cover lower onto the lower bracket from the upper hook, assemble the lower end to complete fixing. Assemble the FPCB folder in order from the upper connector. There is a shape on the bracket lower that can become a guide. Carry out the assembly in the shape and fasten the wire between the ribs while turning the motor once. Then, assemble the speaker and sensor carefully so that the wire is not trapped. Now, assemble the camera. Install 2 gaskets on the hinge and assemble the insulator over the zip connector. Assemble the connect the cover upper while referring to the lower end of lower cover. After fastening 2 screws to fix the upper, while the folder is open, fasten the 2 cap screws. Since the side key is installed on the front, please be careful with the assembly. Close the folder and install the keypad onto the front. Since the key PCB interferes with the cap MMI projection on the top, slide it to the lower end and install the side key onto the front. Locate the shield can hole suitable for 2 bosses on the top of the front when the shield can is connected to the main PCB assembly. Then, connect them by locating on the hook next to the front side key and another hook next to the left middle boss and connect the top key PCB connector and FPCB LCD connector. After connecting the RF cable, starting from the lower key PCB connector, fasten the hook to fix the RF cable on the left wall of the front. Then, connect the main PCB connector and arrange the cables. Install the antenna onto the rear cover. Assemble the rear cover while referring to the hook on the top of the front. Fasten the 6 screws. Assemble the battery to fit with the directional projection of the rear cover. Assemble the battery cover. Now we have completed assembling the KF350.